And welcome back. On December 30th, a newly installed wind turbine came down, striking a billboard in the parking lot of a shopping center in Co-op City. Joining us now on the phone to share a little bit more details about the incident is New York State Senator of District 36, Jamaal T. Bailey. And we welcome Senator Bailey. Good to have you on the phone.
Good morning, Darren. How are you?
Hey, good to have you. I'm good. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Listen, let's get right at it. First of all, let's talk a little bit about this wind turbine coming down. Obviously, a lot of your residents in Co-op City had made arguments that this should have been taken care of a long time ago, but give me your reaction to how things are today.
Well, we are still disappointed that this structure was even allowed to be placed in that area. And as I've said many times, and it bears worth repeating, clean energy isn't the problem. I'm a fan of clean energy. I'm a fan of making sure that we have a better environment. But simply because you can place something somewhere does not mean that you should do so. And especially in an area such as Co-op City, significant population density, it's an eyesore to the building. It rises above the majestic buildings of Co-op City. So that in itself is a problem, and residents indicated that it's a problem, and myself and my colleagues in government were continuing to see that there's something that we can get done about this.
And correct me if I'm wrong, this was done, this wind turbine has been around since it was practically, an amusement park back in the day?
Well, the wind turbine itself wasn't around. So what happened was that Co-op City used to be Freedom Land, and as such, it was zoned for an amusement park. And from my understanding, the majority of Co-op City was zoned correctly, except for that one strip at 500 Baychester Avenue. And the property owner, my assumption is the property owner knew about that and decided to apply for a said permit. And again, that's the central point of just because you can't do something doesn't mean that you should do something. If you're looking to do that, there should have been conversations with the community board, with River Bay, with the constituents, who are the most important part of anything that we do in the community. We should speak to the community first and see what their feelings are about it. And I guess that was my biggest issue with it. Yes, it's an eyesore, and I don't think it should have been put there anyway, but there was absolutely no community involvement or discussion about the placement of this turbine.
Well, fortunately, no one was hurt. Where did things go from here?
And again, it was about the grace of God, I would say. Usually, we're lucky that school was out of session that day. Usually at around 1:30 to 1:45 p.m. when that incident took place. On a normal day, there are tens, if not hundreds, of children congregating in that parking lot. It's near a 7-Eleven, across the street from a Popeyes and a McDonald's, where children are getting food after they leave high school or middle school. That could have been disastrous, absolutely disastrous. Where we go from here is we're still trying to have conversation with the property owner, having conversation with the Department of Buildings, and hopefully we can have a conversation where something like this is no longer in that space.
Yeah. We understand that the Department of Buildings said an investigation is ongoing into the cause of the collapse. It's not clear whether the turbine actually generated electricity or was merely decorative.
And again, that's something that we're still trying to ascertain right now as well. We're still trying to have conversations with the Department of Buildings about what the operational state of that turbine was, and it borders on irony that a wind turbine was taken down by a wind gust.
Mm-hmm. Well, Senator Bailey, while I have you here, I want to ask you a question. On the front page of the New York Post, criticism about cash bail. I know that's legislation that you've got enacted. Talk to us about the criticism and your reaction.
Well, we're looking to stop wealth-based detention. You should not be in jail. Nobody should be incarcerated simply because what they can pay, or most important, or as has been seen, cannot pay. Khalif Browder, spent an inordinate amount of time incarcerated because his family cannot pay $3,000 worth of bail to get him out of jail. These are the things. These are the reasons why we're looking to end. We ended cash bail on the majority of misdemeanors and nonviolent felony offenses. That is why we did it. And that is, I think, a laudable goal, and I think that New York is all the better for it.
Talk to us about revisions, because there's some people who feel like the legislation needs more revision. Are you comfortable with the way things are? Do you think there still needs to be more revisions attached?
I think the legislation is only 8 days old, and I think that we have to be able to, as legislators, you have to be willing to have a conversation about anything. But at the same time, legislation is 8 days old. And I think that we have to be able to see what, we haven't even reached a 30-day period where we can see statistics about what has taken place. It's change. Change is difficult for many people. Change is uncomfortable for many people. But we have not given this, in my opinion, the proper amount of time to see whether it works or not. I believe that it does work, but it's only 8 days to tell. We can't tell on either side.
All right. Well, Senator Bailey, thank you for taking the time to share with us a little bit more about the wind turbine and also about this legislation. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Darren. Have a great day.
All right, have a good one now. All right, for more on Senator Bailey, you can follow him on Facebook and Twitter at Jamaal T. Bailey. We are taking a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to sit down with the producer and the host of the De-Essence Show. That's coming up right after this.